As we put some of the colder mornings behind us and we're looking at warmer mornings in the near future and really for quite some time to come, I want you to keep in mind that there could be still a morning or two toward the end of this month where we see temperatures dip below freezing. The last spring freeze on average for eastern and south central Nebraska can be the last couple of weeks of April, and then for much of western Nebraska, northern Nebraska, it can be later, the first 2 weeks of May, and then a few counties out here in the Panhandle even later than that, last couple of weeks of May. Usually a good rule of thumb for us is to wait until after Mother's Day, which I think a lot of us know, but you don't usually know when the last spring freeze typically comes, which on average it is the last couple weeks of April. Some more reds in the sky this morning as the sun is coming up. There are a lot of particles in the atmosphere with the smoke being introduced and transported to our area from the prescribed burns in Kansas. So a lot more particles in the atmosphere means a lot more light being scattered, leaving the red wavelengths. And you can see some of those colors in the distance. A hazy look toward the horizon from our ABC Seamless camera. We haven't had this view in quite some time, if you've noticed. In fact, this view went down from the blizzard conditions of last month. So thanks to our engineers for getting this working, because that's one of my favorite views around town in North Lincoln, our ABC Seamless camera. But 42 degrees right now in Lincoln, still the 50s down to the south, and looking out toward Kearney, still 52 degrees. A lot of us some 20 to 25 to 26 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. Again, putting some of those colder mornings in the rear view mirror. Winds are now out of the north. Thankful for this because this will help with some of the smoke throughout the day today. Push it back down toward Kansas. Some of those prescribed burns we can see out of Kansas this time of the year. You get a good southerly breeze and that'll bring in more smoke to the area like we saw last night. Radar picking up on maybe a few sprinkles, trying to make it to the ground recently toward David City, Columbus, and then Omaha. But a lot of us missing out on this with some partly cloudy conditions across the state. There will be some more clouds later on today with a small chance for rain. But talking about the air quality index, you'll see that it has improved from last night. Hanging around the unhealthy category here in Lincoln past about 8 o'clock for a few hours. And now we've generally trended toward the moderate category, meaning those unusually sensitive to air pollution. Maybe you'll want to monitor, your health conditions if you're going outside for an extended period of time. But a lot of us in the right direction. Here's a look at the smoke concentrations dropping here across the surface in southeast Nebraska as we go later in the morning, especially by this afternoon, thanks to those north winds. But here's a look at the small chance for rain for a select few this afternoon. With the heating of the day, some more cloud cover, spot showers try to linger tonight, but we won't see much of anything as we go into the overnight hours and then into tomorrow, clearing out. Highs today in the 70s, a pleasant spring day with more of a northerly breeze, but a little cooler into the end of this week. Overly mild for this time of the year before a toasty weekend as we look at the 80s for Saturday and Sunday.